All welcome to Interfire. Friends, there is nothing as difficult as starting up a business from the scratch and making it successful, right? Indian filmmakers in general have not explored the startup territory much, as you need to have a compelling fictional script or have well-written non-fiction biopics that has everything needed to make it a success, like G.R. Gopinath's Simply Fly. I think it's a coincidence that Telugu cinema released 2 movies this month, where the main theme is to make a killer recipe, go bigger. In Miss India, it was the Indian chai, and in Middle Class Melodies, it was something called Bombay Chutney. The main difference between the two being that the first one was picturized in a totally unreal manner and the second one was as believable as it gets. First and foremost, this is a spoiler alert, guys. Sorry for that. Where I might give out details of some twists and turns. Kudos to the director of Middle Class Melodies, Vinod Ananthoju, for making a cute, endearing movie. Middle Class Melodies is the story of Raghava, played by Anand Devarakonda, who is a hot-headed young man who believes his special recipe, Bombay Chutney, is out of the world and wants to set up his own tiffin center in Guntur. Will his dream come true is what you end up finding out at the end. As the name suggests, everyone in this movie is a little bit of hero, villain, and a comedian. One aspect that I like the most about this movie is that the maker Vinod Ananthoju didn't just focus on the lead actor and actress, but also gave space to so many others who have their own middle class dreams. For instance, unlike most movies where the best friends of the lead actors are expendables or comedians or mere sidekicks, in this movie Chaitanya Garikipati, who plays Anand's friend Gopal, is given a very meaty role and he does full justice to it. Even his girlfriend, played by Divya Sripada, does her role pretty well. Anand Devarakonda perhaps chose a apt script for the first movie, and obviously the comparison to his brother Vijay Devarakonda is inevitable, mainly because of the resemblance of his voice. I think Anand did his job pretty well, and it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do next to carve out his own space. The actors who play Anand's parents are super good as well. The script has given enough life to his father and mother that they shine through the movie that is filled with various so-called middle-class twists and turns. The biggest treat for me in this movie was the effortless performance by Varsha Bolama. Varsha, who started as a dub smash sensation where she enacted Nazriya Nazim from the movie Raja Rani, since then she has bagged many interesting roles. Throughout this movie, I was reminded of Nazriya's character in Raja Rani and Om Shanti Oshana. There are many subplots in this movie which touch your heart even without needing them to be melodramatic. The role of a mango tree and an empty plot that instantly gets converted to a garbage pile has been picturized and presented in a believable manner. While this movie has a small share of its own flaws, I think it has its heart in its right place and doesn't deviate much from the protagonist's dream of being successful in his middle class dream. Switching gears to a relatively high profile movie, Miss India, which has a similar theme of making a simple recipe of Indian chai go big. Firstly, after the super successful movie like Mahanati, for which Kirti Suresh got a national award plus also immense appreciation from everyone, it is hard for any actors to make a decision on what next. This is not much different from what Prabhas and Anushka Shetty had to go through after Bahubali, right? When I watched the Miss India trailer, I felt good for the fact that it is a story of a businesswoman. But when they showed Jagapati Babu as a cliche sexist villain, I had mixed feelings about the way this movie would be packaged. Now guess what? I was right. It all begins on a very melodramatic note, where it's one tragedy after another, making one wonder if any of this serves the purpose of the story overall. It doesn't. A character elopes and gets married, another gets Alzheimer's, and the third one dies. All in the span of just first 30 minutes. While I must say that most of the actors did their role pretty well, the plot has so many potholes that make it very hard to recover from. The tragedy strikes Kirti's family, they get into financial troubles, right? You would expect the family to downsize and start from scratch. Ta-da! Kirti's brother becomes a saving grace by getting a job in America and taking his parents and Kirti along with him as a student. In real life, there is a very low chance that a working professional who hasn't even landed in the US for the first time can take his family along with him. If this movie was taken like 20 years back, I think it would have worked, as the audience wouldn't know what it takes to actually get to America as a professional or a student. Now, even as they seeked help from an extended family member in the US, the parents need to return in 6 months. But in this movie, they are happily settled there forever. Okay, let's say we consider this as part of the cinematic liberty and continue watching. Next flaw is a killer business idea that Manasa, the character played by Kirti, has. Yes, it is the Indian chai. She's shown to be pitching this as a revolutionary idea to influential Indian community and saying that Americans have not tried chai, and if they try it, it can disrupt the coffee market big time. Now, the problem with this idea for me is that Starbucks introduced something named chai latte years back, and it is totally influenced by our Indian masala chai. Obviously, Americans love a little extra overdose of sugar and maple syrup and spices, and the taste of chai latte may not be authentic. but it does resemble our chai very much. Chai latte has enough popularity to be recognized as a drink, and most mom and pop coffee shops try their best to serve it as well. Now, before I get into the third problem, let me talk about Kunal Bahl, the co-founder of Snapdeal, who was once a student in the US, got a job in Microsoft, but his visa was rejected miserably. Yes, the biggest hurdle any entrepreneur from India faces is immigration troubles. He or she can be super smart, but there are so many hurdles in terms of immigration that it is almost impossible to start a business if you are not a permanent resident there. In Miss India, the director never bothers to explore that territory. When Manasa finishes her higher studies, she is shown to be struggling for encouragement and financial stability, and eventually convincing a venture capitalist through some punch dialogues to start a restaurant. In the whole process, she is making many forms of active and passive incomes, which is outright illegal in the US. Now, it is hard to forgive so many flaws in the name of cinematic liberty, right? The idea of an Indian woman building a business empire out of Indian chai is aspirational and a believable one. But the way director Narendra Nath presents it makes it totally unbelievable. Think about it, friends, in the movie Middle Class Melodies, where the protagonist is running from pillar to post to set up a simple roadside restaurant or a tiffin center in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Manasa, who is also a middle class girl, is able to pull off things together in a foreign land much more easily and disrupt the business of coffee giant. While Miss India has so many cliche moments like ever discouraging elder brother, like the one we saw in Gunjan Saxena, and a shrewd sexist businessman played by Jagapati Babu. It also has few subplots which are quite appreciable. The scenes that involve Manasa's grandfather played by Rajendra Prasad and Manasa's love dynamics with Vijay played by Naveen Chandra are picturized decently. Friends, as I end this video, Miss India has a great opportunity missed out due to shabby research and writing. Despite the stellar star cast, the movie fails to inspire miserably. Now, on the other hand, Middle Class Melodies is a great watch. Not just because it is close to realism, but it doesn't take audience intelligence for granted. Thank you very much, folks. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please do so now. I mean right now. Thank you. Bye.